Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Dino Combiner's Bumbleswoop from the Dinobots Unite subline for Transformers Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures. So Cyberverse is still kicking around and apparently they're going with a Dinobot motif for their most recent season. And so we get the Dino Combiners line. Bumbleswoop, obviously a combination of Bumblebee and Dinobot Swoop. Kind of a goofy name. But here we are. So this is exposed packaging. You can just kind of reach in, touch the figures as they are trying to get away from plastic packaging. But just make sure, everything's inside before you decide to pick this one up. Over here on the side, you have a pretty cool group shot of the Dinobots. You can see it says Dinobots Unite, Dino Combiners, or Combiners Dino. Spin around to this side, you get a picture of Bumblebee. Not too much going on the top there, though it's kind of a cool group shot there for Cyberverse Adventures. You have Bumblebee, of course, in the center, but you also have Grimlock and Slug, whatever they're calling them these days. Not too much going on the bottom there. Spin around to the back. You can see the robot mode, the vehicle mode, robot mode, dino mode, and then you have the combined mode here. It's definitely something. We'll take a look at it. So I'm going to go ahead and get these two guys out of the box, and we will take a closer look. So here are the two in robot mode out of the packaging. We'll start with Bumblebee. There's not a whole lot going on here. I mean, just looking at him, the robot mode looks okay. He's got no articulation. I mean, he's literally just got this arm movement here. That's it. No elbows. The legs just stay spread apart, really, just to have some definition in the robot mode. You're just going to push them together for the vehicle mode. But that's it. I mean, there's no articulation in the torso or the hips or legs of any kind. I guess that's not true. There's a very minimal ankle tilt because it's part of the transformation, but really it's just this movement here and that's it. But I mean, he's got some nice paint applications. I think the head sculpt looks good. The silver for the face paint looks nice. The blue eyes, the Autobot symbol, all of the windows and everything I think look really nice. So the paint applications are good. He just really doesn't have a lot of articulation. And honestly, if you spin him around to the back, you can pretty much see that you're just going to push this in, and this is the whole lower half of the combined robot. I mean, he's literally just the combined robot flipped around, and that's it. There's really not much going on with him. So aesthetically, like I said, the paint applications are nice. It's just that it's a block figure with basically no articulation. So not the best. But we do have Swoop over here, and I think Swoop's definitely the better of the two. The color scheme's nice. The gray, the blue, the yellow, the maroon I think really works. You have some nice maroon paint applications around. I think the head sculpt works. You have some nice blue for the eyes, silver paint for the face. You have that maroon for the head. All in all, I think he looks pretty good. He's got a little bit more articulation than Bumblebee. You can swivel the arms here. Now, the way the combined robot transforms, it leaves these kind of moving around. They're not really clicked into place that well in the robot mode here. So that's a bit of a bummer. And when you go to move the arms, it kind of moves this whole thing. So there's that. But he does have a swivel here. He's got kind of a hip forward and back joint, and it's really just for the transformation. Same with the knee here, and same for the ankle. But they're really just used for transformation, but he does get to utilize them in the robot mode, so they technically count as articulation. And overall, I just think he looks okay. Not too much going on the back here. But I think he's definitely the better out of the two. Now, if we move Bumblebee for a second, I wanted to show how he scales with Warrior Class Snarl. I think they scale pretty well, honestly. The Dinobots are kind of being released all over the place. I know he's getting a Warrior Class. There's plenty of Grimlocks to choose from, so take your pick. I'm pretty sure Slag is getting a Warrior Class, and he's also getting one of these Dino Combiners with Megatron. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But I think he's getting both. So I think Snarl's Warrior only, Slag is Warrior and Dino Combiner, and I think Swoop is Dino Combiner only. And then I think Sludge is Ultra Class, so they're a little all over the place. So I wanted to pick this one up because I do believe it's the only Swoop we're getting, and I just wanted to kind of complete the Dinobot team here. But yeah, these two, they scale pretty well. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think that actually looks kind of nice. So we'll go ahead and we'll get into their individual transformations here. So I thought about breaking them up, but Bumblebee literally takes 4 seconds, so we're just going to get it out of the way. You're going to open up the chest here. The head actually does fold down inside. It is kind of difficult to get it back out later, so if you have some kind of little tool, I use like my tweezers to kind of pop the head out because it is a little bit difficult, so be aware of that. But you're going to close that up. You're going to sandwich the legs together. You're going to close the arms up, and then you're going to just push these in, and that's it. That's your car. Still has the connector joint just sticking out the front. Kind of would have been nice if that could have folded in as well, but I get it. Again, you know, the paint for the windows I think looks good. Would have been a neat feature if they could have painted these here, because this is supposed to be the back window. And that would have been kind of neat to have the paint there, and then it's, you know, the bottom of the feet in the robot mode would have been a nice touch. But again, I get it. He rolls well, but very quick, very basic. There's the Bumblebee car. Coming over here for Swoop, we are going to lift up the Dino head. That's going to cover that. It doesn't really click in. I kind of wish it did, but then this whole piece flips up, and then it stays a little bit better once you flip that up. Now, I wish the mouth opened, but it does not. But I think the eye for the Dino head looks pretty good. But again, it's a little loose, which it's not that great. You're going to push these in. They kind of click in place there. You can see that there's a little tab and a little notch. So that's pretty much it for that. You're going to fold the feet up, and then this is just going to fold up like so. They don't click in place. They just sit there. But it's a decent little, pterodactyl, pteranodon, whichever one of those he is. And I mean, honestly, it transforms very similarly to his original G1 toy. So there's not really much different going on there. I think he looks good. I think the dinosaur head looks good. The wings are fine. They don't flap or anything. But he's got these kind of missiles molded in. Oh, I forgot. He actually has a piece that I forgot to show off. He's got this little tail flail piece, which he can hold right here in his hand. And I'll show that off in a minute. But this plugs in here and kind of completes the ensemble. So he's got a nice little dino tail there, little dino feet. I think that actually works really well. So you can just pop this off, and then when he's in robot mode, he can hold this in his hand. You just plug it in like that. Doesn't have any elbows or anything. If they could have just given these elbows, I feel like that would have made the world of difference for the whole robot mode, but what are you going to do? But I like that they included this little piece, because while Bumblebee's piece sticks out and looks awkward, you can hide his with the little tail piece, and it really works. I think it looks nice. Yes, it's just molded in one solid color, but I think it looks good. I really do. I think this is a pretty decent little dino mode. We're going to take this back off, and then we're going to get ready for the combination. So while these are bigger than Crash Combiners, because I've had some people ask me, they are definitely bigger. Crash Combiners are probably like maybe this big in comparison. They combine very similarly, to the point that we're going to go ahead and plug these in, and it's going to kind of auto transform, just like the Crash Combiners did. So it's very similar to the Crash Combiners, but they are definitely bigger. At that point, we're going to split this apart, but leave the arms tucked in, pop down the feet. There you go. And then at this point, we're going to flip down his hands and activate them like Henry Cavill in that Mission Impossible trailer. And then we're pretty much good to go. Now, the head back here just you can kind of push it down a little bit. If you really want, you can put that down, but then you'll have a swoop head just hanging out. The directions just have you leave it back. So whatever you prefer. I think the head sculpt is decent. It's kind of just a little bit larger Bumblebee head. Let me see if I can tilt this up here. So he's got nice big blue eyes, a little bit of silver paint there, a little bit of yellow paint here on the chest. These kind of just move. I mean, if you want to count that as articulation. And you can see that Swoop's hands just hang off there. Not really much you can do about it. But then he's got kind of like double jointed elbows. And then you just leave, because the hands are just kind of molded in. So you just leave that folded up so these kind of hang off the bottom. So not great. But we're going to take this piece, and you can go ahead and pop that in his hand. And now he can actually wield it, which is nice. Let me move this. Here we go. The wings just kind of hang up here. They don't move. There's no articulation or anything. He's okay. Honestly, I mean, it could be worse. It reminds me very much of the Crash Combiners. It's just a little upscaled, and you're not really meant to like ram them into each other. They're just kind of meant to combine. So it's very much in the same principle as the Crash Combiners, but they are a little bit larger and, a little bit more intricate, I would say. Not much, but a little bit. And then again, we'll just bring in Warrior Class Snarl just for a size comparison. So, I mean, it's decently tall. Pretty decently tall. He's about half as tall. Snarl's half as tall as Bumbleswoop. which is still a ridiculous name. But yeah, overall, I mean, you can completely see Bumblebee just hanging out back here. At least Swoop's pieces aren't. I mean, you can see the arms, but other than that, you don't really see a ton of Swoop in the torso, which I have to applaud them for. Yes, you have the head back here, but that's just completely Bumblebee just standing back there. I mean, there's no hiding that. But yeah, overall, I mean, like I said, is it amazing? No, but it's not bad. It could be much worse, honestly. So Bumbleswoop is alright. Honestly, Swoop is definitely the better out of the two. I think his robot mode and his dino mode are pretty good. I think his, combined robot form is the more convincing of the two. I mean, it's kind of funny when you look at this. You can see Swoop, but it also looks pretty radically different. I mean, you have the new Bumblebee head, the torso's painted yellow. It definitely resembles Swoop, but it's not just us seeing Swoop again. I mean, even when you turn him around to the back, yes, you can see the arms up there, but it's a decent transformation. They did a decent job of, rearranging the parts so it doesn't just look like Swoop sitting there. I can't say the same for Bumblebee. I mean, that is 100% just Bumblebee standing there. You could even pull the arms out if you wanted to, and he's just sitting on top of his head. I mean, there's absolutely nothing different about that. So I think Bumblebee is a little bit lackluster, but I think Swoop is kind of fun. And like I said, if this is the only Swoop we get, I'm happy just to have him in the line so that we can get a full team of Dinobots. Now, they'll probably go and announce a Warrior Class 1 because I did buy this one. But at the time, I'm pretty sure this is the only one that we're supposed to get, so we'll see how it goes. But like I said, he's not bad. Honestly, I think he's a fun little figure. He scales pretty decently with Warrior Class Snarl, which is really cool. So I do appreciate that. Now, I did mention earlier that there is a second set of these. It's Megatron and Slug. And both of their robot modes look terrible. Like, even worse than Bumblebee. They look like complete rectangles. And I think their alt modes look decent. And the combined mode looks decent. But I'm going to be passing on that one just because we're going to be getting a Warrior Class Slug. So I'm definitely going to go for that. And I've got plenty of Cyberverse Megatron. So I'm just going to completely pass on that set. But I think this one's worth picking up. I mean, certainly don't need another Bumblebee. But I think Swoop works. I think it's kind of fun. And I do kind of like the combined robot here. I think that's actually kind of neat. And just the fact that it really doesn't look like Swoop because you really get that completely new and unique robot head there, which I think is kind of fun. So I will say though that these sets are $25, which does feel like a lot. I feel like they probably could have been 20, but costs for everything are going up because of all the shipping delays and plastic increased prices and all that kind of stuff. So I guess it makes sense. But at the end of the day, they really are just kind of upscaled Crash Combiner figures. So if you liked those, you'll probably like this. And even though I thought I was going to hate that line, it has some kind of a subtle charm to it. I mean, they lack articulation, but they usually make up for it in paint applications and just kind of goofy fun. So I still recommend picking up at least this one. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.